Hey, today we have to talk about an occultist glitch with re-rolling affixes on armor. This unfortunately does not work on weapons and possibly shields from my testing, and I'll show you that proof later on in the video. What we need to do first in order to get a better understanding of how this is going to work is by taking a look at this site right here, which is d4builds.gg. There is going to be a total of 6 tabs on the very top of the page here. We want to click on the 6th one where it says database. What you're seeing right here is the possible rules for the following classes: Necro, Barbarian, Sorcerer, and so on. The first section where it says all classes is what can drop for all classes, of course. Now underneath that, there are more sections that's separated by each class. For example, on the gloves section here, you can tell that lightning critical strike damage can drop for the gloves, while rogue has a chance of dropping an affix that increases your attack speed when you dodge. So we are going to be able to swap out the critical strike and add the increased attack speed, which is only available on rogue characters. Now, instead, we have this on a source class. Let's go ahead and talk about how you can do this. We first want to locate a stash box nearby, then interact with it. You then want to go towards the top here and choose an item of your choice, and then swap it over to the stash box. The only items that currently work are armor, such as legs, chest pieces, gloves, so on, amulets, rings. This is pretty much it. When it comes down to weapons, it does not work too well, and I'll show you why here in a second. Once you have the item of your choice swapped over, pause the game, leave the game, then from there, choose an alternate character. This can be a Necro, Barbarian, whichever. I'm going to use Rogue because I want to swap over that attack speed increase every time I dodge, which is only available on Rogue characters. If you do not have a second character, create one. Then you want to complete a dungeon and you should have the occultist unlocked. From there, go towards your stash box and pick up the item that you just swapped over. Or the other option here is that if you already have some items in here, you can just grab one anyways. For example, I have these legs here. I also have some sort of gloves that I will be working with here soon. But pretty much, you just want to choose the item of your choice. You can tell which one's which because it will say, it's for sorcerers only, or it may say it's for barbarians, whichever you're trying to swap over. Now, what I'm going to do is grab these gloves, and then I want to head over towards the occultist. If you're at Kyovashad, you can find the occultist at the top left side of the map here, and I'll show you exactly where it is. We just want to go towards this fella and grab the gloves and replace one of the affixes. Now, obviously, if you have a perfect roll on your legendaries, then you may just want to swap out one specific stat. I'm going to swap this one specifically just for video purposes. You can tell right here I have received critical strike and dexterity. I do not want this, so what I can do is just back out of the screen and then click on the fellow once more, swap the gloves over. The main goal here is to see if we can pop up the affix that I just mentioned previously. So what you can tell right here, it did not pop up. I'm going to then exit out once more, and we are going to then throw the gloves over. What you are going to see this time is going to be the armed trap affix, which I do not want, so I have to re-roll this again. This is just an example of a stat that can stay on there when you do swap it over towards the sorcerer. Of course, this is not going to work out because I cannot use that because sorcerers do not have armed traps. What you can see right here is another failed attempt. So it may take a few times until you're able to get the roll that you want. What I've done here is skipped straight ahead. This is the 6th time I've re-rolled this. What you see right here is 8.5 attack speed for 4 seconds after dodging an attack. Do I necessarily want this? Probably not, but this is just for the video, so yeah, I do want it. Now that I have this, I'm going to head straight back towards the stash box. Then from there, just stash that sucker. You can then leave the game and join back as a sorcerer. So what you can tell right here, I'm back where I previously was, and then I want to go over towards the left side here inside the stash box and locate those gloves. The item or the icon here is going to be completely different. Do not worry, just swap that over. And if I pause right now, you can tell right here on the right side, the affixes are all the same as it previously was when I re-rolled it on a rogue character. I will show the proof of that working later on. What I'm going to do now is show another example of myself re-rolling, this time not on armor, yet on a wand or possibly a staff. It can either be one of them. It really doesn't matter. What I would like on this is high dexterity. If you take a look at the database that I just showed you at the start of the video, you can tell right away that the rogues are the only ones that can drop high dexterity on weapons. This unfortunately does not work for staffs, at least from my testing, and it probably will not work for other things like, I don't know, daggers, shields, stuff like that. What you're going to see right here is I'm re-rolling it, and it's going to pop up as high intelligence. Now, if it's possible on armor, where I can swap over certain affixes from rogue to sorcerer, how come I am not able to swap over something like a high dexterity to a staff? This does not work, sadly, and this is what makes me believe that this is totally not intended, because how come you're able to swap over certain things like the dodging and all that to a sorcerer's gloves, but when it comes down to swapping something like high dexterity to a staff, it just does not work for whatever reason. And so you might be thinking, well, how is this going to benefit me? This actually looks pretty bad. You're going to be increasing your attack speed every time you dodge an attack. This was just an example of how you can use this to roll different things. Now, if you want something like increased lightning damage, you can do that. There, of course, is some armor out there for sorcerers that will roll this, but there's other parts of the armor, and I believe that might be the chest piece, that you're not able to roll some sort of increased damage. With this method right here, you can do that. This is why it's beneficial to you to try it out and roll something better on your armor to make it absolutely perfect. I hope that you guys have enjoyed the video, and if you have, make sure that you are subscribed, turn those notifications on, and if you have any questions, I'll answer them down below in the comment section. Thank you to everyone currently subscribed and are the members. I appreciate all the love and support from the bottom of my heart, and I'll see you all in the next video.